Good morning, students. So let us continue with the third poem, A Tiger in the Zoo. The poem is composed by Leslie Norris, born in 1921 and died in 2006. Now the poet has written this poem, A Tiger in the Zoo. The clear-cut intention of the poet that wants to convey that the two lives, the life of the tiger, especially the caged life and the jungle life, or the zoo life and the jungle life, the poet wants to show us, that the poet wants to describe here, that how the condition, what is the condition of the tiger who is in the zoo, or the caged tiger behind the bars, and especially the tiger in the jungle or the forest. It means in his natural habitat. What is the natural habitat of the tiger? Forest, jungle. And we know nowadays what is the condition, especially so many species on earth, that they are on the verge of almost, that they are on the verge of extinction, that they are disappearing day by day. And in that, especially this rare example, the tiger is also coming, right? So that's why the poet wants to say, that wants to convey, that we should preserve the forest or the jungles, that we should preserve the animals, especially we should conserve the animals there. We should protect them. We should not put them behind the bars or the cage. And everyone wants freedom. As a human being, we also do not want to live in the captivity. We do not want to live behind the bars or the in the cells. We do not want to live. And the same manner here, the tigers or the animals, that they have also the same mindset. They do not like somebody. It means they should be kept behind the bars or the cells or the cage or in the zoo. So this message that the poet wants to say, that what is the condition, especially the poet wants to show here that the poet is prize winning poet, Welsh poet, belongs to Welsh poet, short story writer, and he wants to say, depicts us that the mental condition of a caged tiger, the tiger who is in the zoo, that what is the condition of mental condition of the tiger, what he thinks, and he compares the tiger who is in a jungle and the tiger who is in a cage or the zoo, that he compares their mental condition. So now here, that we will start now the poem. I will read the line by line, and then the explanation is given. So listen carefully, look at the lines word by word and listen it carefully, try to understand the poem. So here the poet has given the contrast of the tiger in the zoo, and especially with the tiger who is in his natural habitat. It means the forest, right? The very first line of this poem, and especially if we look at the rhyme scheme of this poem, A, B, C, D is the rhyme scheme of this poem, right? And the poet wants to say that in the very first line, he stalks in his vivid stripes. See now, in the first stanza, the poet has described the mental condition of the tigers or the movement of the tiger who is in the zoo, the caged tiger, right? Try to understand the first stanza of this poem. The poet has defined the mental condition of the tiger who is in a zoo, the tiger who is in the captivity, the tiger who is in the cell behind the bars. His condition is given, not the tiger who is in his natural habitat or the forest. Right? Clear? So then, the poet says that he stalks in his vivid stripes. The tiger is locked in a concrete cell. In the first stanza, the tiger is kept in the zoo. And look at the condition of the tiger, that he stalks. Stalks means he is moving slowly here and there. The tiger who is in a cage, that he is moving here and there. He stalks. Stalking means to walk slowly here and there. The tiger stalks walks in his vivid stripes. Vivid means different, having the bright colors, different colors, and stripes means having the long narrow bands on his skin, on his body. The tiger is moving here and there slowly. Why the tiger is moving here and there? Because he has been locked in a concrete cell. Small cell is there. Small cage of the cell is there. No that more space, no that much space. So that's why he could not, it means go a long way. So therefore, whatever the space is, that small cage, the tiger is moving in that concrete cell here and there. The tiger is in captivity now. He is not free now, the tiger at this time. He stalks in these vivid stripes. The tiger is locked in a concrete cell, small cage is there, and slowly the tiger is moving ups and downs. Here and there the tiger is moving. Right? This is the first line. The few steps of his cage. He is in a concrete cell locked. So that's why he could take only few steps. Sometimes here, sometimes there. Back, forth, here and there. Ups and downs. The tiger could move. Second line. The few steps of his cage on pads of velvet white. He is moving on the pads. Pads, for example, velvet white. It means the soft part under the foot of the tiger. It refers almost to the white velvet pads of the tiger which cannot run or leap. On that velvet pad which has been kept spread in his, for example, in his cell, that he cannot leap, cannot jump, cannot move quickly. And moreover that he is locked in a concrete cell. And on pads of velvet white, it means it refers to the white pads of the tiger, and which cannot move, which cannot run, which cannot leap or the jump. This is velvet white. On pads of velvet white, in its white rage, and the tiger is angry now. In the first stanza of this poem, the tiger is angry, and you know very well. Can you tell me why the tiger is angry here? Yes, because, yes, you are right, because the tiger is in captivity, that he is locked in a concrete cell. His freedom has been taken, he is not free. No more space to live, to wander, to move here and there. So that's why the tiger is angry now. Rage means anger. He has been kept there, so that's why the caged tiger is angry now. Right? So this is what about the first stanza, 4 lines, and the rhyme scheme is A, B, C, B is the rhyme scheme. The poet has given the description of the tiger in the first stanza, who is kept in a cell. Now the second stanza. He should be lurking. Then the poet is looking at the imprisoned tiger. Looking at the imprisoned tiger, the poet is filled with pity. Looking at the tiger who is imprisoned, the poet is filled with pity here. Imprisoned tiger who has been kept behind the bars. The poet is filled with the pity, and then the poet imagines this tiger is in zoo. He is kept in the cell, locked in the cell. For example, if he had not been locked here, so what would have been doing the tiger in the forest in his natural habitat? The poet imagines, for example, if this tiger had not been locked here, so definitely he would have been lurking in his in the forest, which is his home, which is the natural habitat of this forest, this animal. So that's why the poet is going to the forest now, to that tiger who is free. He should be lurking in shadow. The poet felt pity for this tiger who is encaged in the first stanza. So that's why the poet imagines there that now this tiger should have been in jungle or in the forest. Right? The poet imagines only, looking at the caged tiger. Now this tiger should have been in the jungle, and what he should have been doing there? He should be lurking. Lurking, it means hiding. For example, lurking means hiding, L-U-R-K-I-N-G. right? The poet just imagine sitting there looking at the caged tiger. For example, if this tiger, if he would have been in the jungle, what he should have been doing there? He should have been lurking, hiding in the shadow of the tree in his forest. He should be lurking in shadow or hiding in the shadow. So then, sliding through the long grass. Sliding means moving through the long grass. What the tiger could have been doing there? He should be lurking in the shadow of the tree at the time of night and moving, sliding through the grass, through the long grass that he should be sliding, moving slowly, quietly. He should have been moving through the grass here. Now the poet imagines about the tiger who is in the forest in his natural habitat, because he felt pity looking at the sympathy for that tiger, caged tiger. So that's why he imagines sliding through the grass, so near the water hole. So at night, lying in the shadow of the tree, or moving through the grass, sliding through the grass especially at the night near the water hole. So definitely tiger would have been waiting in his natural habitat. He should have been waiting, sliding through the grass, or lurking, or hiding himself under the shade of the tree or the shadow of the tree. Definitely he must have been, or he should have been waiting, especially near the hole. Hole means here pool or the water pond. Sitting near the water pond. For what he must have been waiting? Where plump deer pass. And he must have been waiting for the healthy deer. Right? Why? Because he is waiting. The tiger is hungry. So that's why sitting, whenever the tiger is in his natural habitat, that especially at the night, sitting under the shadow of the tree and moving, sliding through the long grass, he must have been waiting near the pool, near the water. He must have been waiting for the prey. He must have been waiting for the victim. For example, the deer, who would be the healthy feast for the tiger. He is waiting for his food. He must have been waiting for his food. Where the plump deer, plump means overweight, fat deer pass, he must have been waiting there. That jungle tiger or the forest tiger. He should be snarling around houses. And then the poet says that definitely he should be snarling around houses. And that jungle tiger or the forest tiger who is in the forest. First stanza, the poet describes about the tiger who is caged, who is locked in the cell, concrete cell. Second stanza, poet goes to the jungle tiger, or the tiger who is in his natural habitat. He said that definitely he must have been sliding, snarling here and there, and must have been waiting for the deer near the pool, sitting near the pool at the night. And now the third stanza, the poet says, he should be snarling. Snarling means in an angry mood, making the sound, right? That growling sound of the tiger. So he should be snarling around the houses there. Here what the tiger would be doing in the cage, failed to find any prey. He should be snarling around houses at the jungle's edge. And definitely he should be snarling. For example, if in the case tiger is, for example, in case if the tiger is failed to find the prey, to find the animals or the food, what he would do, the tiger? So definitely he would come, he would turn to the towns and the villages. One more message that the poet wants to give to the readers, to the listeners: if we destroy the natural habitat of the tiger, if we destroy, if we cut the trees, if we destroy the forest or the jungles, so definitely wild animals like tiger, that they will turn, they will come to the towns and villages, they will attack you, right? If you destroy their peace, their home, if you destroy, so definitely they will come to the villages and towns. He should be snarling around houses at the jungle's edge. And if you destroy, if he, for example, if he is unable to get the food, definitely he would be snarling around the houses, especially coming at the jungle's edge, bearing his white fangs. White fangs means Fangs means two long sharp teeth. His teeth, long sharp teeth. That is a FANG. Fang is given. Fang means his two sharp teeth. Bearing means showing, to show, right? Expose. Showing his showing his white fangs. Fangs means two long teeth, sharp teeth at the front of the mouth. White fangs and his claws, or his feet that, or his claws, that definitely he must have been snarling there around the, especially at the edge of the jungle or the forest. They would turn there, terrorizing the villagers, terrorizing the villagers. So definitely, if we destroy the natural habitat of the tiger, they would come to the towns and the jungles, and definitely they would terrorize us, to the human beings. So that's why the poet says that do not disturb their peace. Do not destroy the jungles or the forest. Otherwise, wild animals will turn to your habitat. It means towns and villages. Here, what the tiger would be doing in case he failed to find any prey. This is what in the third stanza the poet has given. The tiger who is in the jungle, if he is failed to find its prey or the food, definitely the tiger would come to the towns and the villages, and he would try to terrorize the people. So the meaningful message that the poet has given: don't disturb their peace. Don't disturb their natural habitat of such wild animals. Otherwise, they would definitely disturb your peace there. Your peace. They would come to you. So this is what the first three stanzas of the poet has given. Now the remaining two stanzas that we will continue in the next video.